wishbone. Okay? The wishbone is located under the breast. So here's the breast. It's like your collarbone. Okay? So it's right up here in the V. You put the breast, and then you open this up, and you look in there, and you feel right on the edge, and there's a bone. Okay? And that's the wishbone. And you can get at it a few different ways, but if you can see the bone, you can rub against it on the top. You can use the back of your knife so you don't damage the meat. So you can hear it on the bone. Hear it? Are you close enough? You can come behind me if you want. If you need a closer view. Okay, so once we have the little piece exposed, we're going to take our knife, and on the bone, we're going to go all the way to the top. Okay? Okay? Now we're going to come to this side. We're going to do the same thing. Sometimes you get a wishbone, they're broken. If it is inside there, don't worry about it. So you can hear I'm scratching it. I expose it. If I got a cut, I'm going to cut on the inside, right? Not on the outside of the breast. On the inside to do the least amount of damage. You can use your fingers. You can rub them. Okay? But again, if you want to just come down with your knife, okay? So now you can see I have the two sides of the bone exposed. Now it's anchored here where the wings and the bone connect, right? Where this all goes together. So there's a joint right here. So you hold your knife straight down against it, and if you cut, you see it cuts that bone. One thing that's always going to kind of show you where something is connected is you can always see little pieces of fat where the connections are. So you'll see that little white tissue fat right there where that bone was connected. So now you just want to make sure that that's fully cut away. Okay, so now we got a fully dismembered whatever. Now we're going to rub. We're going to go all the way to the top, and you want to push and slide till you can feel the top of the bone. Now you just kind of gently, this one's still anchored here, so I'm just going to tell it. Now if you just kind of twist it, and if you take your time, it comes out. Okay? Now, the importance of this is not for anything we're doing now. I don't need to do that for this cutting of the chicken, but it's a skill we use because it is kind of important to get the breast out in other applications, and especially if you're going to roast a whole turkey and carve it, right? How do we carve the breast? To properly carve a breast, we should be slicing this way, across the grain, not this way. Right? Now if I've got a bone right there, I can't get my knife through, can I? So I take the bone out before I roast the turkey, then I can get a beautiful sliced turkey. Okay? So we've taken that out. Now we're going to start dividing the turkey or the chicken up. You can use a bony knife, although bony knives are really from taking meat off the bone, not to slice through bone. You guys have, your chef's knives are rather large. So they're kind of hard for you to cut through this chicken properly without messing up. This knife is actually the perfect size to do this, and you get more leverage. Okay? It can be done with the boning knife. It's not an issue, but that will dull your boning knife cutting through the bone. Okay? So we have to cut this in half. We have a bone here, and we have a bone here. So that's a problem, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the backbone. The backbone runs right along here. Okay? If we start at the tailbone, and since I'm left-handed, I'm going to hold the right side of the chicken. I'm going to put my knife on the left side of the tailbone. Okay? There's a little notch there, and it goes right in very easily. Okay? Now, we always angle towards bone. Right? We can't make a mistake if we hit bone. If I go the other way, I can slice this leg in half, and that's no good. Right? So now I just push down, okay, and I cut. If you hit something that it doesn't want to move, just give the knife a little wiggle. There's a hip bone in it that's rather difficult. You got to use some effort. Okay? And once you're down, you've got half, it's open, right? Now we're going to take the other half out. An easy way to do that, again, is to flip the chicken over so you can keep your fingers out of the way and cut down. And you go to this side. This side is going to be a little harder, okay? If you have difficulty, okay, you can lay this down. You can see the rib that I'm cutting, okay? You lay it down, you match the end and the notch here. You put your chef's knife right there, and you can just cut down. Okay, that's all you need to take out. Now we've got the breastbone. That's right here. Right? So we got to get this bone out so we can cut the chicken in half. The wishbone was here, so I don't have to worry about that bone now either. Although it's so easy to cut, it doesn't really matter. Okay? So what we're going to do, you put your knife straight up and down into the V. Right? There's a V. Right in the center of the V, you cut down until it stops. Right? We're right on the breastbone. Okay? Now we come up and we just go over the top of the bone. So we cut the membrane. We cut this membrane that's right here. Okay? Now what you do is you're going to give it a chiropractic adjustment. Okay, one side or the other is going to let loose. It doesn't matter which. Right? So there's half the bone. Use your finger and you get that loose. Now in this case, the sternum, this was so tender that I started to cut through it. So we don't really want to cut the sternum. We want to cut on the side. So I'm just going to loosen that with my knife so that I can get the rest of it out of here without it splitting. Sometimes they split. There's nothing you can do about it. So you see I've gotten that entire side loose. Okay? Now we got to do the other side. So now you hold this bone and you try to pop it the other way. Again, you got to have some muscle. You got to have a little bit of pressure. If you can't pop it, put your knife in there and just cut gently to free it. Okay? Then using your finger, you loosen that up. Right? Remember, fingers can't do damage usually. Right? So there's the whole breastbone out. Now, just like you open a can of soda, you just take that and you pull. Sometimes they come easy, sometimes not. And there you go. This is called the keel bone. They also call this the keel of a ship. Right? There's the Titanic going down. Okay? We got all the bones out. Now we have two halves of a chicken. We cut this and we have two halves. Okay, so everybody go do that.